Jamunatira vanachari Jamunatira vanachari Jayo radha madhava kunja bihari gopi jana vallabha girivaradhari Yashodanandana vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana vrajajanaranjana Jamunatira vanachari Jamunatira vanachari Jamunatira vanachari Jayo radha madhava kunja bihari Harekrishna Harekrishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 6. Chapter is entitled Maharaj Parīkṣit Passes Away. Text number 33 to 37. Text number 33. Ta etad adhigachanti Vishnoryat paramam padam Aham mameti daurjanyam Na yesham deha gehajam Ta etad adhigachanti Vishnoryat paramam padam Aham mameti daurjanyam Na yesham deha gehajam Ta etad adhigachanti Vishnoryat paramam padam Aham mamedi daurjanyam Na yesham deha gehajam Ta etad adhigachanti Vishnoryat paramam padam Aham mamedi daurjanyam Na yesham deha gehajam Vishnoryat paramam padam Aham mamedi daurjanyam Translation. There is no purport to it, so we'll continue till verse number 37. Translation of this verse. Such devotees come to understand the supreme transcendental situation of the personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, because they are no longer polluted by the concepts of I and my, which are based on body and home. Text number 34. Ativadam stitiksheta navamanyeda kanchana nachemam deham ashritya vairam kurvita kenachit. Translation. One should tolerate all insults and never fail to show proper respect to any person. Avoiding identification with the material body, one should not create enmity with anyone. Text 35. Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Krishnaya Kuntamedase Yat Padam Buruhadhyanad Samhitam Adyagam Imam. I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the invincible Lord Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna. Simply by meditating upon his lotus feet, I have been able to study and appreciate this great literature. Text 36. Shri Shaunaka Uvacha Pailadibir Vyasa Shishyer Vedacharyer Mahatmabhi Vedascha Katita Vyasta Etad Saumya Videhina. Shaunak Rishi said, O gentle Suta, please narrate to us how Paila and other greatly intelligent disciples of Srila Vyasadeva, who are known as the standard authorities of Vedic wisdom, spoke and edited the Vedas. Suta Uvacha, this is text number 37. Samahitatmano Brahman Brahmana Parameshtina Ridi Akashad Abhunnado Vrittirodad Vibhavyate. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, first, the subtle vibration of the transcendental sound appeared from the sky of the heart of the most elevated Lord Brahma, whose mind was perfectly fixed in spiritual realization. One can perceive this subtle vibration when one stops all external hearing. Purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the supreme Vedic literature, the sages headed by Shaunaka desired to trace out its source. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya-manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanja Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam Bhangum langayati girim Yat kripadamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. Text 33 once again. Read the translation. Such devotees come to understand the supreme transcendental situation of the personality of Godhead Lord Vishnu because they are no longer polluted by the concepts of I and my, which are based on body and home. Hare Krishna. Seek the blessings of all the devotees. I can speak something worthwhile for my purification. So this chapter is entitled Maharaj Parīkṣit Passes Away. And what a glorious birth and death of Parīkṣit Mahārāja has been explained here in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam first canto begins with the birth of Parīkṣit Mahārāja, his wonderful glories, his qualities. And now by the end of the 12th canto, we get to see the glorious departure of Maharaj Parīkṣit. Yes, die we all have to, today or tomorrow. The question why doesn't arise for us. Why we have to die. We all have to die, and yes, the question why doesn't arise. What's important is maybe how a person dies. Someone may ask, okay, how did this person die? He died of a heart attack, he died of some disease or whatever. Probably that could be a question someone may ask. But more than that, a bigger question, important question is, what was the state of consciousness when that person died? That is the million-dollar question. And here we see what was the state of consciousness when Parīkṣit Mahārāja died. That is more emphasized. That is given more priority than how a person actually departs from this world. In one of the books which was edited by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, This book is called Life's Final Exam. And the prologue to this book was given by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. So in the prologue to this book, Life's Final Exam, Radhanath Maharaj gives a very beautiful meditation about this onward journey of a living entity after death. So Maharaj says that Maharaj writes in this prologue, if one truly wants to understand how to live, basically, if someone wants to understand how to live in this world, then Maharaj writes, one must follow in the footsteps of great souls. And Maharaj further writes that if one wants to learn how one wants to perfect one's life, then one must definitely try to follow in the footsteps of such great souls. Because these great souls, they not only teach how to live in this world, but great souls also teach us how to live or how to die. And it's a long narration. Maharaj writes that people in this world are so very eager to know, to learn how to live nicely in this world. But if they can also understand how important it is to know how to die in this world, that is what is far more important than just to know how to live in this world. Because ultimately death is final examination. That's what Maharaj writes. So all of our studies, all of our education, all our seminars, classes that we attended is so that we can pass in the final exam. But what is the point if we fail in the final exam? Ultimately, we come back to square one. We have to appear all again. And one has to start all over again. So everything will culminate. Our future will depend on how we pass the final exam. This is what Maharaj writes. And how we perform in the final exam will altogether depend on how we prepare for the final exam. And he says that this life, this human life, is nothing but a course. Human life is a course that we have to finally, we have to study and we have to finally appear for exam. And we all are in a school, whatever age we may be. And the purpose of this course, of this human form of life, is to graduate. And to graduate means to not again go back to school. So we don't come back to school for studying. And this graduate means we graduate from this material concept of life and return back to the spiritual world. So this is a beautiful prologue that Maharaj writes to this book, Life's Final Exam. A very beautifully explained what exactly death is and how death so much means to a devotee. And then Giriraj Maharaj also writes that he also writes in this book that how we all are destined to die one day. Unlike Parīkṣit Mahārāja, who knew that he had 7 days in hand, we don't know whether we have 7 days, 7 hours, 7 minutes, or 7 years to pass to actually live in this world. But ultimately, we all are on the verge of death, because which is sooner or later going to come to us. And Giriraj Maharaj writes that of all the different types of fears that a person has, a fear of getting sick, fear of losing money, losing job, fear of or any other type of fear, Maharaj writes that fear, the greatest fear is the fear of death. Because this fear can make all other fears pale. No other fears can stand in front of this greatest fear. But if someone can learn to overcome this greatest fear, that is the fear of death, that person has truly passed exam. That person has truly become free from all the miseries of life. And it is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which teaches us through the life of Parīkṣit Mahārāja how to actually become fearless and how to transcend this greatest fear of death. So, I was going through this book by His Holiness Bhakti Mahārāja. He has written a series of book, he has written a beggar series. There are 4 series to this book, and the final series, the name is called Die Before Dying. And Maharaj, Bhakti Mahārāja in this book beautifully mentions that how another name of birth is death. Now, you cannot have one without the other. Meaning someone who is born is sure to die, and someone who is died is sure to take birth again. Jatasya hi dhruvar mrityu dhruvam janyamritasya cha. So basically, Maharaj, in this book, he is writing that how we are born to die, and death is there just around the corner for all of us. And then Maharaj quotes Prabhupada, where Prabhupada writes something about death. Prabhupada says that philosophy means to keep death right in front of our eyes. That means people in this world, they are trying to ignore death. But a true seeker, a true philosopher is he who actually keeps death right in front of his eyes. Of course, that doesn't mean that we become constantly paranoia of death all around us. But we are aware that death can actually catch me anytime. So death is not to be ignored because it teaches us important lessons for life. And it is this death which will force us to look for what is essential in life. In the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right at the beginning of the 14th chapter, Krishna speaks a beautiful verse. Krishna says that death can't be avoided. No one can avoid death. But the affliction due to death can definitely be avoided. That means we cannot avoid death, but we can definitely avoid the pain and the trauma that will be caused by death. Idam jnanam upashritya mamasa dharmyam agata sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. So Krishna is telling, idam jnanam upashritya, one who takes shelter of this knowledge, O Arjuna, mamasa dharmyam agata, that person will actually attain my dharma. Now, what is the meaning of dharma here? Dharma means, in one sense, nature. Krishna is telling that person who takes shelter of this knowledge will actually attain same dharma or same nature as that of mine. And what is the nature of that nature? Sarge pinobajayante pralaye na vyathanti cha. That means that person will never take birth during the time of creation. And even if he has to take a birth, that person pralaye na vyathanti cha. This is a beautiful word that Krishna uses, vyathanti. Krishna could have used the word pralaye na martyanti cha. That means at the time of dissolution or at the time of death, this person will not undergo vyatha. Vyatha means pain. What is that? Peye nana vida vyatha. Vyatha means pain. So Krishna did not use the word pralaye na martyanti cha, because we all have to die. But Krishna says when the dissolution takes place, that time a person will actually be not inflicted by the pain. So death is certain, but we can actually overcome or transcend the pain or the trauma caused before death. So this is what Krishna is telling. Now we have seen, and this 12th canto is actually about Nirodha, or Pralay. There are different types of Pralay being explained. Prakritik or Nitya, Naimittik, Prakritik and Atyantik. Different types of Pralayas are explained. And Krishna also in this 14th chapter is explaining Pralaye na vyathanti cha. So someone who takes shelter of this knowledge can actually transcend the pain which is caused by, because of the death that one has to undergo. So, to the extent we identify ourselves with the body, to that extent we have to suffer. Say, for example, I possess a car, and if a car meets with an accident, then probably because I identify with the car, so naturally, I am going to feel pain for the accident of that car. But say, for example, if I sell off that car, and tomorrow I get to know that, okay, that car which I sold off met with an accident. So probably I may not feel that much pain, which I would have felt when that car was mine. So now that the car is no more mine, that means I have stopped identifying myself with that car. Even if the car is damaged, probably I don't feel the pain. Similarly, the great souls who are advanced in knowledge, they consider this body as a vehicle or as a car. And just as if we have to travel from one place to another, say we have to travel from Delhi to Vrindavan, then we hire a car. Similarly, great souls, they think, for them, this body is nothing but renting a car. And once the car helps the person to reach its destination, then we give that car back to the car agency. And we carry on ourselves with the life ahead. Similarly, advanced devotees, they consider this body as a vehicle, and once this body has done its job of helping the passenger to reach its destination, that means a person has actually reached to the point where he has spiritualized his consciousness, then he doesn't mind even giving off this car. That means he doesn't mind giving the car back to the material nature, which is like the agency, the car agency. And no more, and the person will continue to move on in the journey, but he will not be affected. And that person doesn't worry so much about the car. So the point is, we can't avoid the experience of going through the death, but we can definitely avoid the trauma of death. And that is possible if we can transcend the modes. We can transcend the modes, so modes will not affect the body. And this is what Parīkṣit Mahārāja actually could achieve. Atmajaya sutagara pashudravina bandhushu rajya vikala nityam virudham mamatam joho. He actually got detached from Atma, that is body, Jaya, Sutagara, and all these 8 different types of attachment, even before he met Shukdev Goswami. And when he met Shukdev Goswami actually reinforced and solidified his renunciation. He helped Parīkṣit Mahārāja to solidify his renunciation further. And Parīkṣit Mahārāja, Bhagavatam also clearly explains. Bhagavatam just doesn't beat around the bush by telling that, Parīkṣit Mahārāja did not achieve death. Parīkṣit Mahārāja did not escape death, or he did not personally wanted to escape death, but he actually escaped the affliction of pain. And we can see right at the beginning of the 10th canto, where Parīkṣit Mahārāja is actually himself expressing that how he has transcended. He has transcended the needs and the demands of the body. Naishati dussaha kshanmam tyaktodam apibadate pibantam tvam mukhamboja chutam harikathamritam. So here is Parīkṣit Mahārāja who actually committed this apparent mistake of garlanding Shamik Rishi with a snake. What was the reason? Because he was afflicted by thirst, and they will not hinder me. So you kindly continue on. So we can see Parīkṣit Mahārāja had actually transcended, someone, who took idam jnanam upashritya. This is what Krishna tells. One who takes shelter of this knowledge, then sarge pinobajayante pralaye na vyathanti cha. That person will not get afflicted by the trauma and the pain of pralay. This is the power of Krishna Katha, as we all know. No, iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama muda. What is that? Kurvanto ramamanascha na vindati bhava vedana. So many places in Bhagavatam again and again comes with the same concept. This concept that one who can actually take shelter of this knowledge or take shelter of Krishna through this knowledge can actually transcend. No, Shrutva guna bhuvana sundara shrunvatam te nirvishya karna vivare haratonga tapam. Rukmani Devi is telling, one who takes shelter of the hearing process, one who hears the wonderful narrations of Lord Krishna, then haratonga tapan, one can actually rise. One will not be afflicted by the three tapas. Or even the third canto explains that mad ashraya katha mrishta shrinvanti kathayanti cha tapanti trividas tapa naitan mad gata chetasaha. Kapil Dev is telling his mother, mad ashraya. Again he uses the word ashraya. Krishna is telling idam jnanam upashritya. One who actually takes shelter. Then tapanti trividas tapa, tapanti vividas tapa. One can actually transcend. So one may not be able to overcome death. A devotee may never want to escape death, but devotee can certainly transcend. Shuniya tomara guna bhuvana sundar durabhela angatapa trivida dushkar. This verse comes in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Shuniya tomara guna bhuvana sundar. One who hears the wonderful narrations of Bhuvana Sundar Lord Krishna. Durabhela angatapa trivida dushkara. One can actually transcend. So, what it means to take shelter, what it means to take shelter of this knowledge. When Krishna says, idam jnanam upashritya, or when Kapil Dev says that, mad ashraya katha mrishta. So basically, Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita that this knowledge is not just to be studied, but this knowledge is supposed to be taken shelter of. And how do we take shelter of this knowledge? Definitely by studying it reverentially, by applying it submissively, and by knowing for sure that this knowledge is none other than Krishna, who is actually appearing through this knowledge. So it's Krishna who is coming to us in the form of this knowledge. And it was Parīkṣit Mahārāja who took shelter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in the same mood, reverential mood, submissive mood, knowing very well that Krishna is coming to me very close. I don't mind. What is it? Gayataha Vishnu Gataha. Dashatyalam Gayataha Vishnu Gataha. So Parīkṣit Mahārāja is actually teaching all of us how we have to die before we die. Because Parīkṣit Mahārāja, he had already transcended the modes and he had already transcended the attachments to his body, and he actually attained liberation. Our acharyas explained that even before Takshaka came to bite him, Parīkṣit Mahārāja had actually left his body. And before he passes away, naturally he passes the life's final exam with flying colors. So Bhakti Mahārāja writes in this book, Dying Before Dying, that before his body was hijacked by Takshaka, Parīkṣit Mahārāja's consciousness was hijacked by Krishna. And this is what it means to die before dying. And Bhakti Mahārāja, very beautifully, succinctly, he mentions about mastering the science of dying before dying in his book. So I've just noted down few points, And let's see how much we can elaborate on these points. I've just paraphrased it. These points can actually help us die before we actually die. So right at the beginning, Bhakti Mahārāja writes that actually no one wants to die. No, then why are we saying that we should die before dying? So Bhakti Mahārāja says that no one wants to die because as souls we are eternal. So the reason why we are saying that we should die before dying is so that we can actually live an eternal life. That means we die before dying to live eternally, with Krishna. And then Bhakti Mahārāja gives the example of his mother. His mother would often say that, give me my flowers while I can still see them. Now this appears to be very simple, ordinary statement. Give me my flowers while I can still see them. So Bhakti Mahārāja, when he was small, he would wonder what is so big about this statement. But when he grew up and when he contemplated on this statement, he actually realized that this was a great wisdom that his mother offered to him. What is the wisdom? But Bhakti Mahārāja, he actually realized that when mother said this, that give me my flowers, while I can still see them, means mother actually realized the transient and the transitory nature of this body. That means this body sooner or later is going to die. So even his mother at that point of time clearly understood that this body is transitory. And because this body is transient or a transitory, ephemeral, we must live this life every moment. This is what Bhakti Mahārāja says. So die before dying means we have to live this life that we have, whatever breaths that we have, we must try to live this life every moment. That means we show love and affection for the life that Krishna has awarded to us. That means the now that we have, the present that we have will never come back again. So we appreciate every moment. So this is the first point that he writes, if we have to die before dying. The second point that he says is, when we die before dying, we put first things first. If we have to die before dying, then we prioritize things. That means the activities that will nourish our souls has to be given the first preference. Only then can we die before dying. The third is, he says, since we know that life is meant to prepare us for the glorious death, that means we can live each day as if this is the last day of my life. So this is the way we can actually die before dying, having this consciousness that probably maybe this is the last day of my life. And because this is the last day of my life, I will not, or I cannot afford to miss, or I cannot afford to waste even a single moment of my life. And there is no time to waste on irrelevant or superfluous activities. This is the third point that he writes, if we have to die before dying. The fourth is, he says, living a life of detachment. That means when we actually live a life of detachment, not irresponsibility. We don't equate detachment as irresponsibility. But when we actually live a life of doing our duties best, but then living everything the rest to Krishna, then we can actually die before dying. Then the fifth point, very important point that he says is, if we have to die before dying, then in this life that we have lived, we have committed a lot of offenses towards many people around us. And these offenses can stagnate our spiritual progress. So these offenses will not allow us to die before dying. So he says that begging forgiveness from the devotees and people all around is also an integral part of dying before dying. And then the next point he says is, these are some 7-8 points that I jotted down. One more point that he said is, so many people have cheated us. So one is, we have committed offenses, we have hurt someone's feeling, and there are people who have cheated us, blamed us, disappointed us, lied to us, manipulated us. So he says that probably a lot of scars we have developed in our life also because of someone else. So rather than taking revenge, rather than having this attitude of resentment, we should develop or cultivate this attitude of forgiveness. Only then can we die before dying. Unless and until we cultivate the attitude of forgiveness, we cultivate the quality of forgiveness and give up resentment, we cannot truly die before dying. And then he further goes on. Finally, he says that if we have to die before dying, then the quality association matters a lot. The association of those people who will help us die before dying. And then he says what it actually means to die before dying. So die before dying means we give up the selfish, egoistic, the controllership. And we truly submit and surrender ourselves to Krishna. That's when we can truly die before dying. So I just thought I'll just focus on these 2 points. Giving up resentment and and cultivating this quality of forgiveness. And if time permits, we will discuss on the quality association. So if we see these 8 points that we discussed, Parīkṣit Mahārāja actually, he demonstrated, he exemplified these 8 points. Did not waste a single moment. He lived every moment from the point, he got to know that he's going to die. Or he begged, he did not develop any revenge fantasy, but he actually gave up the mood of resentment, and he took the quality association of Shukdev Goswami. So Shukdev Goswami, he offered his quality association to Parīkṣit Mahārāja, and that was the reason why Parīkṣit Mahārāja could actually transcend. So coming to this point of how Parīkṣit Mahārāja could die before dying, because he could forgive. Now, it's easier said than done, but I'm just going to repeat what I've heard. A few years back, I just was fortunate enough to hear one seminar on giving up resentment, giving up grudging mentality. So moving from grudging to gratitude. This seminar actually helped me personally a lot. And that's why I just thought that I'll share some very important points in this connection. So how do we move on from resentment to gratitude, or grudging to gratitude, the way Parīkṣit Mahārāja actually moved on in his life? The problem with resentment, now resentment means we harvest. Harvest means we gathering. Harvesting means gathering. So we gather ill feelings or bitterness towards someone. We hold a lot of grievances, and because of that we want to actually take revenge, and we want to fight back, and we want to show that I am no less than someone else. So what happens when things go wrong in life, when people hurt us, or when people say something which we don't like, we become resentful. Or many a times when people don't speak to us, we become resentful. They may have not said anything to us, but the very fact that the people don't speak to us, they just withdraw and they don't speak to us, we develop a grudging attitude towards them. No, we think that that person has something against me. That's the reason he's not speaking to me. And because of that, we become resentful and we start building our emotion based on that one feeling. So what happens when a person actually becomes resentful is life moves on, but the mind gets stuck very much in the past. Like, say for example, if we consider a timeline, which moves from event A to event B to event C. Now, if we consider this timeline along which the life moves on, then a particular event may have happened at point A. Life moves on, so life moves on from point A to point B to point C, but the mind gets stuck at point A. That means mind gets very much stuck in the past, and we keep getting traumatized ourselves. How could he say that to me? Why this happened to me? Or how can that ever happen to me? No, Krishna can never do this to me. So our mind gets locked in the past in a particular event, which actually for which we are not able to accept or digest. It's just like driving a car. You are driving a car. You are sitting on this driver's seat, and you have switched on the engine, and you have put the right gear to move ahead. But at the same time, you have pressed. You are pressing your feet on the brake button. Brake. So what happens is car can't move ahead, but a lot of friction and a lot of noise keeps coming. Similar thing happens to us when we are having that resentful attitude. Our mind probably there is a mentally there is a brake which is applied on our consciousness, and we just are stuck there. A lot of noise keeps coming, at the back end. Where we are constantly just brooding and constantly thinking about that same thing, but we go ahead, but we don't grow in life. And that's what happens. We become actually paralyzed, may not be at the physical level, but at the mental level, and we are just existing, where we are filled up with so much negativity, and this type of resentful attitude just saps our energy. So in one sense, it is natural for the body to have a certain responses. Emotions are nothing but a natural responses to certain situation. Say for example, if I am sitting under a fan and if I start feeling cold, then naturally I'll move to a place where there is no fan. Why? Because my body responds to a certain situation, certain emotion, certain situation, physical situation, and because of that, which I naturally respond. Similarly, even at the mental level, when something goes wrong in life, we definitely feel irritated, we definitely may get angry, or we definitely become resentful. That response is natural, but holding on to that response is unnatural. The holding on to that response is not only unnatural, but holding on to that response is actually harmful. And Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, Lord Krishna speaks about determination in the different modes. 18th chapter, Krishna speaks about 3 types of determination: mode of goodness, mode of passion, ignorance. And basically, why I'm speaking all this is I personally undergo a lot, this problem of resentful attitude. That's why I'm speaking this, so that probably this will help me a lot. So Krishna in the 18th chapter, when he's speaking about determination in the mode of ignorance, He says that resentment is also a type of determination which we don't want to give up, which we want to hold on to. And when we hold on to it, then that is determination. What is determination? Determination is something where we carry on, we hold on, we press on, we don't give it up. That is determination, basically. No? That's a quality of determination. And Krishna says that resentment is also one type of determination, but it is in a mode of ignorance. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madamevava navimunchati durmeda dhriti sa partha tamasi. Krishna is saying, Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam and mada. These are the 5 things that a person actually na vimunchati. Munchati means to give up. Na vimunchati means to not give up. A person doesn't give up these 5 types of attitude. First is swapnam, daydreaming. A person keeps dreaming, doesn't actually or factually does anything, but keeps dreaming. Swapnam bhayam. No? Fear is a natural response to danger. But when a person is too much over fearful, no, that's not good. So Krishna is telling that when a person is overpowered by fearfulness and doesn't give up that. Many people, they have a certain phobia. When an exam comes or when a Bhagavatam class is supposed to, the date comes closer, it just becomes very much paranoid. So, and that fear factor doesn't allow him to speak what he or she has prepared. So, too much fear, a person just can't give it up. And then, yaya swapnam bhayam shokam. Now, shok is what is resentment. Person keeps brooding, lamenting about the past. And Krishna is saying that, if we can't give this up, we are actually in the mode of ignorance. So, swapna and bhaya are for the future. And shoka is for the past. And then he says vishada. Vishada means moroseness. Some people are habitually morose. You try to inspire them, but their body type, their mental type is such that you just can't inspire them much. That's how they are made of. So vishadam, habitually morose. And mad, intoxication. Someone just can't give up intoxication. Although it is hurting, although that person knows that intoxication is so bad, it's going to hurt him financially, physically, at the family level, may break relationship, but then still that person cannot give up, holds on to. Similarly, resentment we hold on to, and Krishna says this is in the mode of ignorance, and something that is so painful and still we hold on to, that is not recommended. Basically, determination is used in a positive sense, but here Krishna is using determination in the negative sense, where we hold on to something which is painful. Now, many a times to hold on to something which is painful is also beneficial. Say, for example, if a person is about to, or he's holding on, he's actually going to, say, fall off from the cliff. And if a person is going to fall off from the cliff and he's holding on to something which is actually painful, he's trying to hold on because that will save his life. He's holding on to a rope which is going to save his life. Now that holding on to something which is painful is actually purposeful, because that's going to save his life. But holding on to something which is painful which is purposeless, that is something which Krishna doesn't recommend. That's why resentment is something is actually not determination, but it is actually obstinacy or stubbornness. So determination in a mode of ignorance is actually stubbornness. And then, if we are resentful, and there are three ways by which we can respond. Or in fact, when we undergo certain problems in life, there are three ways by which we can respond. But if we have the resentful attitude while we are responding to this, while we are responding in this three way, then probably we will not be successful. Now I'll just try to explain this. The first way to respond when we undergo problems in life is one, or someone tells us something, someone hurts us, is one thing is we change ourselves. We change ourselves, that means we tolerate. Second is we try to change that opposite person, which is so very difficult many a times. Or we try to change the situation. And the third is we try to walk away from that situation. We try to walk away from that person. These are the three ways we can actually respond to any event that transpires. So the point is, when someone does wrong to us, when we say that we shouldn't be resentful, doesn't mean that we allow that person to trample upon us. But it's what we are trying to say is, we should not let that person mentally dominate us all the time. So what happens is, when we are resentful, that person whom we are actually too much having a grudging attitude towards, we are actually holding that person mentally all throughout. So in all these three ways of responding, we can respond into these three ways at different situations. When Pandavas, there was this initial rivalry between Pandavas and the Kauravas. When Bhim was fed poison, and then they were tried to, when they were being put in that, when they were being tried to burn in that fire of lac, or that home which was made out of lac. At that time, they had this, they developed that resentful attitude. At that point of time, Yudhishthira Maharaj said, no, it's a family issue. We should try to tolerate. Let's not people around come to know this. So they adopted the first. That means, okay, let's change ourselves, let's tolerate situation. But then we all know that those same Pandavas, when actually things went beyond control, when Draupadi was been publicly disrobed, then under the guidance of Krishna, they actually decided to take a war. They had the war. So they tried changing the situation. So they adopted the second means. So of course they fought the war not out of desire to take revenge, because even Krishna tells Arjuna, nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. So Krishna wanted them to fight the war not because of taking revenge, but fight the war in order to establish dharma. And then finally the same Pandavas, so same Bhagavad Gita initially in the second chapter tells to tolerate, what is that? Sam stitikshasva bharata. But then same Bhagavad Gita also tells to fight, yudhyasva vigatad jvaraha. So Krishna tells, tolerate pains and pleasure while you are fighting. So Krishna doesn't say that we don't fight. If we have to fight, then we actually try to change the situation. But then Krishna is telling that, okay, not out of revenge, but as a part of dharma. And then the same Pandavas adopt the third way. They walked away. When Krishna left planet Earth, they said, okay, our job is also done. Let we also walk away from life. So walking away doesn't mean running away from life. Running away is different. Running away means probably we run away out of fear. We run away thinking probably I cannot deal the situation, so let me run away. Walking away means, we understand that there is something better than getting into this type of issues. There is something far more purposeful rather than just getting into such type of fight and trying to resolve. No, there is something, I have a higher purpose in life. So that's how we just walk away. But so all these three responses were adopted by Pandavas at different points of time, and they were all valid because they did not have the resentful attitude. They were successful in all the three because they did not hold on to the resentful attitude. If, say for example, if we have a resentful attitude and if we still say tolerate and still we continue to have the resentful attitude, then probably one day it will explode. How long can we tolerate? How long can we repress? So similarly, at all the three levels, if we continue to hold on to the resentful attitude, then probably we cannot truly be successful. And there are 5 ways in which we can actually overcome resentment. So the first way is when someone hurts us, someone says something, speaks something, or something goes wrong in our life, the first thing is not to get back, but to get safe. Now, this is what it is explained in this seminar. No, not to get back. Getting back, matlab, तुमने 1 दिया, मैं तुम्हें 10 दूंगा. That is what get back. Basically, it's like ईंट का जवाब पत्थर से, something like what you say. So this is the first way we can actually overcome resentment, is not to get back but get safe. Get safe means we basically do not give an impulsive response, but we actually make ourselves safe. Say for example, if we are walking on a field and a snake bites us. Now immediately we will get angry, we want to run behind the snake, we want to crush that snake into powder. But then in the course of running behind the snake, what will happen is we will increase the poison also. So the first thing that we need to do is, rather than running behind the snake, let's ensure that we are safe. So let's ensure that we take the treatment, and then probably we can search for that snake in case if we can find. So this is the first thing. That's what happened in case of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was, when he was insulted, that was like, he was actually hissing like snake. That was a strong resentful attitude that he developed. But then, instead of impulsively replying to his father or to his stepmother, he actually took shelter of his mother. And resentment was at its peak at that point of time. But because Dhruva Maharaj, the credit goes to him also. He actually did not impulsively react, but he actually went to his mother and took shelter. Many a times when we impulsively react, then that resentment can backfire us. So rather than getting back, get safe. And then, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to somehow or other get rid of resentment, rather than impulsively replying or impulsively responding. The second is, rather than expressing or repressing the emotion, process the emotion. That means Dhruva Maharaj, he went to his mother and took shelter, and mother helped him process that emotion. And when Dhruva Maharaj was helped by his mother, then he slowly calmed down, and instead of directly going back and back, firing at his father or stepmother, he tried to change himself. So basically, if we express, that means if we went out, then probably we will spoil the relation forever. And if we keep repressing, then probably it will explode someday or other. We cannot neglect or we cannot actually deny the emotions that we undergo also. So rather than that, what we do is we actually process the emotion. And the path of bhakti is all about purifying our emotion. When we purify our emotions, then we can process things better. And we can respond to situations in a better way. And the third way to actually overcome resentment is trying to see beyond the immediate cause of suffering. If we think that someone has spoken to us, that person is not just the ultimate cause. That person is not the only cause of what I am going through. Seeing beyond the immediate cause is also one of the ways by which we can overcome resentment. Just to give there are 5 examples in the scriptures. We may not have time to speak. Time is already up. No, I'll just speak one example. Bhishma Dev, while he was lying on the bed of arrows, and Yudhishthira Maharaj comes there, and Bhishma Dev, he's actually trying to instruct and console Pandavas. The first verse that Bhishma Dev speaks is Aho kastam aho anyayam yad yunam dharma nandanam jivitam narhatam klishtam vipra dharma achyuta ashrayah. So Bhishma Dev is telling that, oh, you all underwent so much trouble in life, so much injustice in life. And Bhishma Dev, in the following 4 to 5 verses, is actually telling Pandavas the cause of their suffering. What is the actual cause of suffering? And Bhishma Dev, while he quotes these verses, Sarvam kalam kritam manye bhavatam cha yat priham, that means he's telling, okay, time is the ultimate factor. Idam, or that he says that nahi yasya karhichit rajan pumam veda vidischitam. And then he says, Tasmad idam daiva tantram. So finally he says that ultimately it's the daiva tantram, or he's saying it's the Kal factor. Nowhere in these 5 or 6 verses, Bhishma Dev is telling that Kauravas were the cause of suffering. Interestingly, nowhere it's mentioned. Although it's but obvious. It's but obvious that Kauravas were the one who were actually directly the cause of Pandava's suffering. But Bhishma Dev doesn't directly tell. Nor does Pandava even tell Bhishma Dev, आपने इतना सारा तो cause सुना दिया, लेकिन Kauravas को भूल गए आप. They did not even tell. Of course, at the same time, it's not that they were looking only at the they were seeing beyond the immediate cause. They also dealt with the immediate cause, that was Kauravas. So if we want to overcome this resentment attitude, then probably we have to look beyond the immediate cause. There are many examples in this connection. Even in case of Prithu Maharaj and Indra, Brahmaji is coming and telling Prithu Maharaj that please do not blame Indra, because ultimately it's providential arrangement. And even Parīkṣit Mahārāja, when Shringi is cursing, Parīkṣit Mahārāja did not blame Shringi at all. He is telling that, okay, Lord Vishnu is coming in the form of the snake. So this is how we see in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam helps us to see beyond immediate. And when something goes wrong in our life, if we can learn to see beyond immediate, that means there is immediate cause, there is intermediate cause, and there is ultimate cause. So immediate may be a person who is actually delivering the pain to us. But the intermediate is our own karma. And the ultimate cause is Krishna. So Krishna as the ultimate cause doesn't mean that he is causing us suffering. Krishna as the ultimate cause means he is actually the sanctioning authority. So this is the third way by which we can overcome resentment. And finally, the fourth and the fifth way is we reinterpret the or we give reinterpretation to whatever has happened to us. devotional interpretation of the reality. That means if things have gone wrong in my life, if someone has done something wrong to me, then probably it's for my good, for my better. And say for example, death can be seen as a defeat, but death was seen as a sacrifice in case of Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ was crucified, they could have seen death as a defeat, but the followers, they saw that death not as a defeat, but they saw death as a big sacrifice that was done by Jesus Christ. So they actually reinterpreted the whole thing. Similarly, even in devotional service, devotional circle, we may have to reinterpret the actual incident that may have happened, which is ultimately for our own progress. And that's when we can overcome resentment. And the fifth is, if nothing works, if we can somehow or other absorb ourselves in Krishna, then Krishna will actually help us overcome these fluctuating mood swings that we also keep undergoing, and it will help us to focus more on something higher. So a lot can be spoken. I have gone way beyond my time. I'm so sorry for this, but I'll end here. Thank you all very much for your kind patience and hearing. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grandhara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.